we're going to start. Let me introduce you to the judges. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pin their video up here to start with.
I'm sorry,
So,
can I interrupt you? Can I
Sure.
interrupt you for a second? Sorry. So this is Shark Tank, right? Let me first introduce
Wait.
myself.
What's that?
This is Shark Tank, right?
Right?
Okay, so my name is Jordan Small. I was asked to present the Shark Tank. I'm not too sure who to send the PowerPoint to.
We can let you do screen sharing from you if you've got it there. Or if you need, you can send it to me. Which one are you doing it for? What chapter?
University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Okay, so you'll be the fourth presentation. So we have Emory, then Georgia Tech, Georgia State, then UTC, and then UTK.
Okay, and how do I send the PowerPoint?
If you'd like to send the PowerPoint to me, send it to D Keel. Here, I'll just put it in the chat. Can you read the chat?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for asking.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm glad you did. Okay. So the guy you see on the screen here is Pastor Gary. He's working with the UTC chapter, but it doesn't give them an edge. Okay, just saying. Jordan's hoping so, but he's only one of the judges. We're glad that he's here. He's had a long, some of you heard him last night, he's had a long history with ACF. Through his pastoral career, he has retired, moved to Chattanooga, the scenic city, and is now involved in our UTC chapter. So we're glad that he's here. Let me go to the next one. You have seen her, you have known her for a long time. She's been around. And this is Miss Emily Wells. Emily has been the advisor for the KSU chapter for quite a few years, but she recently retired. She said she was tired and they put her retired, but anyway, she is now going to become an area coordinator for us, volunteering in the Atlanta area. So we're glad to have her as our second judge. Our third judge, let me find him here in my gallery view. There we go. Is, there we go. This is Elder Chester Clark, or is it doctor? No, not doctor. This is my boss, you guys. So he's the one that is over all the church ministries. He's vice president of our conference. And we're just thrilled. He's actually out in Arkansas today and he's visiting people out there, but he has graciously accepted being here as a judge because he believes you're important, as do we all. So we're glad to have you, Chester. And then last but certainly not least is our Southern Union Youth, Young Adult, and ACF Director, Elder Ken Rogers. And Ken is coming to us live from Calhoun, Georgia in his study. Ken and I have been friends for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long because it would show you how old we both are, but he's older. But Ken is a man who has been in youth, young adult ministry for years and knows and loves kids. And so we're glad that Ken, you've agreed to be here as part of our Shark Tank. And so we'll with that move on. Let's see if I can remove the different pens that I had on. Okay. All right, so now we're going to start in with Emory University. Benzie, go ahead and do your screen sharing. It is for you. Open, go for it.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, we sure can.
Okay. All right, so my name is Benzie. I'm the vice president of the Emory chapter. And I'm here with Catherine.
And Catherine, I am the treasurer of the Emory chapter.
And our Shark Tank is ACF 101 Virtual Vacation. All right, so overview of our proposal is we plan to facilitate a series of events that promotes the principles of New Start, which stands for nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperature, air, rest, and trust in God, and self-care among our Emory community, along with the Atlanta community as well. And we plan to do this with self-care, swag grab bags, and virtual group experiences that are done asynchronously or synchronously. And we plan to do this in March 2021. So due to COVID, spring break is being canceled. So this would be around the time that we would have spring break. And the reason why we want to do this is with the virtual learning, no spring break, COVID-19 is very serious events. It's easy really just to take care of ourselves. So we plan to have this initiative to encourage us to stay fit physically, mentally, spiritually during this time. And we plan to collaborate with other Emory organizations to have a greater reach in our school community, but also the Atlanta community as well, and also just to increase fellowship as well. So our goal at the end is really just to have our students on campus and staff and also community associated with principles of New Start, self-care, and really just establish our presence as Emory ACF on campus.
Thank you for that, Betsy. Going on to the next slide, just to kind of break down our plan. We want to do it over the course of 4 weeks. Each week we'll have a theme. Our main themes are exercise, nutrition, social, and rest. And each week has 3 components. That would be the synchronous, asynchronous, and Bible study component. We're really quickly in this short period of time going to go through the synchronous and asynchronous stuff, because that's what we are asking you to invest in. And we're building off of our framework of Bible studies, which we already have in a sustainable way. And again, it'll all be connecting to the principles of New Start. Can you please change the slide, Betsy? Thank you. So for our first week, our goal is exercise. For our synchronous event, depends on Emory's restrictions. We're in the orange zone right now, and we can explain what that means later on. But essentially, we were hoping to maybe plan a walk at Stone Mountain or Low Water Park. Low Water is on Emory's campus, so that might be more accessible. It depends on, again, what Emory's travel restrictions are. For our asynchronous event, we would be doing racing through the Nike Run Club app. So you download the app, you can walk or run. The app will keep track of how far or how fast you go, and it'll be like a virtual leaderboard, so we can do it in a socially distanced manner. We can collaborate with several groups, including other ACFs if you guys are all interested, also Emory Lifestyle Medicine Group and the Recreation and Wellness Center. For this particular event, we are estimating we would like to invest $200 just in terms of prizes, in terms of giveaways and whatnot. And of course, you can see the different components of New Start highlighted in black that this connects to. And Betsy, if you could go to the next slide. So we are actually doing our test run of this program right now. It is our fall fun walk and run. And I'm actually putting the link right now for the registration if anyone's interested, because you can see our 4th challenge is actually starting tomorrow, and it's free. It's fun. If anyone's interested, please feel free to register. We could always use more representation. If you can go to the next slide, Betsy, just to kind of break down the numbers for you of where we are within these past 3 challenges. We've had a total of 27 people really register. 2/3 of the people are not affiliated with ACF. So it's really good outreach. And we can, again, break down these numbers later. For the sake of time, we can move on, but just we have mostly undergrads seem interested in this type of outreach. Just go ahead and move on, Betsy.
All right, so week 2 is nutrition. So we plan to do a synchronous event, a vegan cooking lesson via Zoom. And we also plan to do a grab and go cooking supplies with recipes, so we all can also, our participants could participate. And with this, people can cook with us at the event, which we'll have at a set time, or they can do it on their own time, which will provide with, again, the cooking supplies and also the cooking lesson that will also be recorded for easier access. So this can be accessed by anyone who wants to participate in nutrition. And we plan to collaborate with the Emory Vegan Cooking Club, Emory Fitness, and also Emory ACF members, also other chapters as well. And the cost would be for cooking supplies, potential virtual guest chef if possible, which would be about $30 per person. And we estimate that this would be about $300 just to for the cooking supplies and other expenses. And we plan to tackle nutrition because with everything going on, we would love to just emphasize eating healthier so we can stay focused, since our diet is also connected to our physical and spiritual health as well. And week 3, after we focus on nutrition, it will be a social component. So again, depending on Emory's restrictions, we plan to do a spa or a game day, just to cater to 2 different interests. So this can be a grab and go self-care wellness bag for our asynchronous event. And our potential collaborations will be with the Emory Counseling and Psychological Services. So with this, we'll have a game day that is set synchronously, and also a spa. So with the grab and go wellness bags, we'll be able to have a spa day that's hosted via Zoom, and we'll be able just to rest and have a great time. So the cost, well, for all this material for up to 10 people will be up to $300, also for the game day and food activities as well, which will also be adhering to Emory's social distancing guidelines as well.
Hey, thank you for that. And wrapping up here, our last week would be theme is rest. Synchronous event, we would like to do a picnic celebration, socially distanced, COVID precautions as Emory permits. Asynchronously, maybe some sleep hygiene bags. We're all students for the most part. We are sleep deprived, especially if we're not getting a spring break. So we think this would be really great. Could definitely collaborate with the Office of Health Promotion at Emory. We're estimating around $200 just for 20 participants. And if you could move on to our final slide, we are asking, the phrase "go big or go home" I think applies here, and we're already at home. So I guess our only option right now is just to go big. So we're just gonna request the whole $750. If you have been keeping tallies of our expenses, it is more than $750. We are willing to invest our own budget that's normally allocated just for ACF chapters, in addition to whatever you choose to invest. We will say these are based off of a assessed need that we believe there is a need for all of these things, for more rest, for more better nutrition, for exercise at our campus. So we plan to go through with these events, regardless of however much is invested from the Sharks. But we believe that this is a serious need, and we recognize that ACF is really made, it's made by people, but it's also guided by the Spirit. So we just hope that you will invest in whichever way the Spirit leads you. And it is, it's really about the impact at the end of the day that we want to spread to as many people as possible. Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, judges, you've got 5 minutes to ask whatever questions you'd like to.
All right.
Well, who
Well,
wants to start?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Hey, I love this idea. I think it's a really great one. I like the fact that it's not just one event; it's really 4. You're looking at a package, sort of trying to draw people in with different, I guess, appeals. One thing might not appeal to everyone. I like your involvement with other clubs. Or at least you suggested that you could do some of these events in conjunction with other clubs. I think that's really cool. Not just other ACF clubs, but even other clubs on your campus that you're willing to work together with. And I think that's really cool that you can collaborate in that way. I was also impressed with your slide there for your current event that you're doing and the number of theology students from Emory that are involved in your event there. That's pretty cool. I think it's really awesome that you are building those bridges with people on your campus. And so I like your idea. I like that you're investing in your own resources. One question I had is on your 4th event with rest. I know you have a Bible study with each week as well, and you didn't really get into that. But would you consider broaching the subject of a Sabbath rest and the one day a week that God would like for us to have a change of pace. Is that something that you've thought about beyond the, obviously the sleep and other things that rest involves? Just wanted to hear feedback on that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Thank you so much for that feedback. My mom actually did an event a long time ago. We were doing like a wellness thing at the church, and she did a presentation. I think she did a really good job of melding on the topic of just physical sleep, because again, we're sleep deprived students. So like getting us to sleep just like appropriate hours of the night is already a challenge, but I think it really does connect to Sabbath rest. And I think people are receptive to that, right? I'm part of the Interreligious Council at Emory, and it's really interesting. Like we can all sit down, people who are Jews, of course, that is something that's part of their tradition, but even Buddhists, we have people who are, just from other Christian traditions, and we are able to discuss that in a non-judgmental, just this is something that we believe. It's not necessarily something that we are forcing on you, but just to have that resource there, I think is something I am very open to. I don't know if you want to add on to that, Bensi.
Yes, definitely if the Bible study component would most likely include this presentation, or this more like a study on Sabbath. But one thing I've noticed just my personal studies is that Sabbath, the concept of Sabbath is gaining a lot of popularity within the secular world. So with this week, one thing that we have planned is also just to have social media campaigns, just to have little things like, what's your concept of rest? What can you do to rest this week? And also tagging the other Emory organizations about the concept of rest, and having that email be dispersed around the campus, just as a reminder that, hey, even though we have a lot going on, even though we're students, we can still have 24 hours just to, if you're religious, spend it towards God, focus towards God. But even if you're not religious as well, just 24 hours just to decompress and not just sleep, but just be one with this rest.
And finally, the picnic celebration would be on, hopefully around Sabbath. So we'd be kind of encouraging people to unplug around that time. Does that answer your question?
It does. And I wasn't suggesting it had to be, a Bible study on the seventh day Sabbath necessarily. I don't, I think that you can build bridges there without being, trying to be controversial. But I think it'd be really cool to have that component as well. And it sounds like you've thought of that. So thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your organized presentation. I appreciate it. Tell me how people would identify who you are at these events.
Yeah, so in terms of the picking up with the grab and go, the way Emory works is we have a site called OrgSync. I'm not sure what other campuses use, but all of our events are online, and people can go online and locate the events. And that's how we've gotten a lot of our people for the walk and run that we are hosting now. So everything's just online, like on a big message board, and we would just have that, and they could go and say, schedule a pickup, and we would just have a specific date of saying, hey, we'll be at this location on campus. If they want to pick up the grab and go bag from there, if they're living off campus, we can ship the information to, or the actual little packages to them, if that makes sense. Is that what you were asking in terms of how would they identify where to go and who we are? It's really mostly online, if that answers your question.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd like to know how ACF, how you're identified as through all this programming.
Are you saying us
on
as
your shirt? Is it on advertising? Is it on the bills? How do we know who ACF is through this program?
I see your point. Okay, yeah. Sorry if I misunderstood your question earlier. So our advisor, Margot Bagley, her husband is willing to help us with all of the stuff that we are handing out, to have our logo on that. So if we're handing out maybe a water bottle or something for the run aspect, and just anything that we can really get our logo on, especially with the Bible studies and everything that is online, our logo is there. If they click on our actual ACF, it has our actual description of who we are. Does that answer your question a little bit better? Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
And then one thing is where even though most classes are online, we are able to also distribute flyers on campus with like a QR code, which has worked. So if they scan the QR code with our name, they'll be able to be directed to our social media platforms where they can see all of our events. So this could be for the on-campus students as well.
Thank you, guys. I'm Emily Wells, and I have a question about how you plan to follow up with these 4 events. Do you have some type of tool to evaluate in terms of attendance and, how things went overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. That's something we're definitely learning with this launch of the fun run, because I didn't want it where people are registering and I can't get in contact with them if they've, won a prize. So the way it works with Emory is that you have to RSVP through, if you're affiliated with Emory, with your email, so that I can reach out to them that way. What we will probably do is add like a Google form or something on the registration instructions for next time and just for any of our events, such that we at least have an email that we can reach out to. And then we can also have follow-up surveys built into the Emory Org Sync page. And again, if we're doing it with the Atlanta community, we can make our own form. And Benzie's been making most of our forms, so he can probably say more about that.
And then those evals can also be done at the synchronous events, just to avoid people to not completing those surveys as well. And then we'll use those feedbacks for our future events and even pass it to our future leaders that are going to be taking up the mantle.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for asking about follow-up. I was going to ask about that too. I'd like to say that I'm very impressed with this project. It's having 4 weeks with 4 different approaches is excellent. And I have a question particularly about whether or not you have any plans in involving the community in this, and what might those plans be?
Yeah, absolutely. So Betsy, if you don't mind going to the pie chart, and I do want to be mindful of everyone else's time for the other chapters too. So this shouldn't take long. Yeah. So with the Atlanta community, we had about 11% of people participate. So that's mostly just been by word of mouth. It's hard to figure out how to advertise and what platform you would do that on. Really what we're doing is just asking people to, again, by word of mouth, reach out to people. If we are thinking of maybe going to the Adventist churches in our area and saying, hey, is this something you would like to be interested in advertising? And I think that might be a way of including the community. But yeah, that's something we definitely want to think more about, is what type of platform can we reach out to people about? I'm not sure if Betsy wants to add anything about that.
Yes, definitely reaching out to our Adventist churches, but our president, Danielle, is also a master's student at the School of Theology at Emory. So it'll probably involve her just to reach out to her various students, peers who are also pastors or also community members and leaders as well. So through her involvement, we can have connections with various stakeholders in the community and just be able just to share these messages as well.
Good. I'm glad you've thought of those things. Would you mind another suggestion?
Of course.
For each day of the event, you could go to some business in the community and share with them what you're doing and ask them to be willing to be a sponsor together with you for that week's events, and they're going to ask you, well, what do they get out of it? Well, as a sponsor for that week, you would list them in all of your advertising, and students from the university who are going to be involved with this can get particular discounts on items from that business. Also, for you, that business can provide certain items of, you mentioned the swag, you mentioned the things that other people would be getting, you mentioned every day there are things that business could donate as extra incentives for the students to get involved with this, because it adds something else that they'll be getting as they participate. And so the business would get additional business. Plus, businesses always like to be involved with events at the universities of their communities. They could also provide perhaps a special prize for that week's event that you'd figure out some way to give that prize to whoever it is that would earn it in whatever way you might want to make it available to them, so that the students would have more incentive to become involved. The problem with that is you're going to end up having more students, particularly for your cooking event, because that's one of the ways that you can get more and more businesses involved. And so you're going to have room for more than 10 people. So that might present a problem for you. How would you handle something like that?
I guess what we were thinking is that in terms of nutrition and the cooking one, the number that we have is just a number of people we would provide supplies for. So we could still distribute the recipe and say, hey, if you're able to order these things, you can still join us on Zoom, because you can get an unlimited number of people on Zoom. It's really just for the supplies. We could also do a cheaper thing, because we were thinking of doing a whole vegan meal, but we do have some people within our own chapter who like to bake, maybe bake a loaf of bread or something. So maybe something that's not as expensive, and maybe we could share more supplies and incorporate more people. Does that answer your question in terms of the nutrition?
Partly, but if you had a community sponsor, they would be able to help you provide more of the ingredients for what you're going to be cooking.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Get
Okay.
more people involved in the event, which would build a great deal more interest on the campus as well as in the community.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry if I misunderstood that earlier. Absolutely, we could definitely get some involvement there. Thank you for that.
And I had another quick comment. If you're done, Gary. Are you finished,
Sure,
Gary?
go ahead.
Oh, sure.
Yes, thank you.
You mentioned that you were going to share the event information with the Adventist churches in the community. I would like to suggest that you not limit that to Adventist churches, and just make any faith-based group or business or organization in the area aware of it. That's more publicity for you and incentive for people to question who you are and see who you are just by your involvement in the community that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
We need to move on. So judges, I think we lost Ken somewhere, but take a little time to deliberate, decide how many credits you'd like to give to Emory.
Let me see. How are we deliberating?
And while they're doing that, Georgia Tech, get ready. And I don't know who's presenting. If you need to share a screen, get Betsa to give you co-host privileges.
Scores.
I'll be sharing. Shelby Johnson.
Okay, Shelby. All right. Okay, judges, how many credits would you like to invest in the Emory chapter? We'll start with who's ready? Ken?
I'd like 750 at least.
At least. So you got 1,000. What do you want to go?
And I have 1,000 for each one, right?
For each one, yes.
900.
Okay. Chester?
Yeah, I was number one that just gave out A's. No one should get 100%. So I'm gonna give 950.
950. Wow. Okay, Emily.
1,000.
1,000 points. That's awesome. Gary.
If they'll agree to reach out to the community in a broader fashion, then I'll give the 1,000.
Mhm,
Wow.
mhm.
Amazing scores, Emery. Good job. Let's all give them a hand. Thank you. You can also use that little reaction button at the bottom if you want. It's a clapping thing there. Yeah.
Thanks,
Or maybe a
everyone.
party one. I don't.
Thanks,
All
Ken.
right.
That's a great hand. I appreciate it.
Good job.
All right. Let's go to Georgia Tech. Miss Shelby, take it away.
Oh, Shark Tank.
Hey, can anyone not see my screen?
We can see it.
We see you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Shelby Johnson. I am the president of the Georgia Tech ACF chapter. And also Praise, our social media manager, will also be helping out with the presentation a bit. We'll be presenting 2 ideas today, and there will be questions at the end of each one. So feel free to ask and clarify anything that you want to know. And thank you to all the judges for joining us and everyone else for listening. So our first idea is a movie showing, and Praise is going to go ahead and do this one.
All right, thank you, Shelby. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All
Could
right,
use a
great.
little volume though. You sound distant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so our first idea is a movie showing. What we'd like to do is we'd like to rent out a movie theater room, or possibly maybe do this out on the Georgia Tech Green, which is kind of an open space out in out on campus, where hopefully we can show a movie. And the movie would be Hell and Mr. Fudge. Just to give you a little background on this movie, it is based on a true story of a Baptist preacher turned lawyer who was asked to study out the topic of hell and trying to understand the traditionalist view of what hell is and how that fits with the concept of God being a God of love. And our idea is that many people coming from this COVID, even though it might not have hit us as hard, there will be many students coming back to campus over either the spring or fall semesters who have dealt with loss. And, you know, many times in our college careers and our college semesters, we kind of try to hide those things from either our friends or our teachers, and we don't really have someone to talk to about it. And maybe even sometimes even our parents. So there's no one really to talk to about it. And we'd like to kind of open up this discussion to hopefully get people talking about this a little bit and understanding that God is a God of love, and that the biblical based concept of hell is not one that of hate. And yeah, so we just like to invite, our ideas are to make ACF Georgia Tech stickers, something to kind of bring a presence onto the campus, help bring our presence onto the campus. And the logistical breakdown of how much we expect to spend is about 375 total. 150 would be renting the movie theater, and that can be liable to change if we have to move it towards a more open setting. The next is the $20 for the stickers, $5 to just rent the movie, and $20 for food. Then in our next slide, we will we see like some of the reasons why we want to be able to bring this onto the campus is, number one, everyone loves a good movie, so it's a way to invite students to something that is Christian based, but it's not something that will turn them off. It's a cool way to bring people of all backgrounds together. It'll accomplish, our hope is to bring, is to let people know that there is an Adventist Christian Fellowship chapter, as well as to bring some of the community together and some of the other chapters together as well, because we'd like to open this up to the other chapters as well, and have them bring their friends and the people that they might meet. And yeah, lastly, it will be a good witness to help people who might be struggling with this, who might have lost people during this time of COVID, and help them understand that God truly does love them. All right.
Sorry, one
Are there
thing
any
real
questions?
quick, I lost a zero. It's not $20 for food, it's 200. It was
Okay.
total of 375, included 200. If you realize it didn't add up.
That was a question that I had. For 20 bucks, I thought, man, that's a deal. Look at 100% of that ask. Any questions from the judges on at
Hey,
that particular?
I have a question, and
All right.
and that is, do you have a license to show a movie publicly?
I can get it.
So currently, no, but I think so. Right now, a lot of movie theaters are doing this thing where you can rent out the movie theater and they'll play it for you. And I haven't seen, I've looked up like on some of the forums and stuff, I haven't noticed that being an issue. So I'm not sure if you can get that from the movie theater. Hell and Mr. Fudge, it was played before. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, but when it first came out a few years ago, I remember they were playing it in theaters. I think it was Adventist people had rented out a bunch of theaters around the country. I guess they were playing it. So I'm sure we could also reach out to people and figure out how they were able to do that to be able to continue that. But no, that is not something that we've done yet.
Yeah, I encourage you to do that because for public showings of movies, sometimes the license is expensive. Just to get the license, it's not a matter of a $5 rental. That would be illegal to show a $5 rental movie to the public, and you could get yourself into a great deal of trouble for that. I want to congratulate you, Shelby, and praise and your group. This is a nice idea to be able to reach out to the community, particularly with an emphasis towards answering questions brought on by COVID. Have you checked? We don't know. Of course, we still don't know exactly when you're going to do this, but if COVID is no longer an issue, then will movie theaters still just cost that $150? I think the cost to rent a movie theater when it's not COVID time could get quite a bit more expensive than that. Have you checked into that?
No, however, sorry, go ahead. You can go.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's where the other idea comes. If we're not in COVID anymore, we'll be able to rent on campus for basically free. I'm not sure about Tech Green, but definitely the inside rooms. And so in that case, then things would open up. Right now, it's really, really hard to get spots on campus because of COVID. You have to have a room, I think it's twice the size or 3 times the size of what the amount of people coming. And it's really hard to get a room because so many people are trying to get rooms. So right now, that would be kind of why we'd have to go to like the movie theater or do it outside. But if we were not dealing with COVID anymore, then that would actually probably lower the cost because we'd probably be able to do it on campus for cheap.
Have you watched the movie recent enough to determine whether there are any theological problems that might cause ACF trouble later?
Yeah, I just watched the movie recently, and yeah, I believe it's actually made by Adventists, but they take the story from a Baptist preacher.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, just to clarify, I think he kind of said it, but basically the whole idea is that coming to the conclusion that like it's not an eternal fire is kind of what the movie's about. And coming to kind of the conclusion of what Adventists believe, that God is a God of love, and like sins don't weigh more than others and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to commend you for the idea. I think it's something that could be really interest to the community. I've seen Hell and Mr. Fudge. I've done a showing, and I think that there is a fee, a license fee. At least back when it first came out, it was what I'd consider nominal. It wasn't a significant fee. The story follows the life of a pastor who becomes a theological professor for the is it Nazarene? I'm not, or one of the theological seminaries in the South. And his own study led him to believe as Adventists do, in the eternal destruction and not eternal fire. And it's a very compelling, well-written, well-produced, well-acted movie that I think is going to engender discussion. What I would ask you though is, what have you thought about as far as follow-up? Would you have some literature, a literature table you would give people the opportunity to take if they wanted to read something more about it? I think there's actually a book that may go along. Would you plan a Bible study on one of your campus events that you could invite people to? I'd just like to hear what you had in mind on that.
Yeah, so as to follow up, I believe the idea would be to, when handing out these stickers, which would either be, I don't know if it would be at the beginning or the end of the showing, but it would just be to invite people to some of the weekly group studies that we have. And we would begin kind of shifting that over to more of these kind of discussions that are based on understanding who God is and understanding some of these concepts, like hell and some of the things that might have that we might have grown up with, but trying to understand what it says in the Bible.
Okay, thank you.
I'm pretty consistent with my concept of following up with evaluation. So do you have anything in place for post-event to find out what the experience was like for those who attended and how it can be improved on from their perspective, be it electronic or paper or both?
Yeah, I think one great resource is Google Forms. That's something I use a lot with a lot of other organizations, especially. And so I think that's super easy, especially with like QR codes. You can just flash that on the screen at the end of the movie, and people can capture with their phone and take the survey real quick. And so that's something, yeah, definitely we would love to.
Very good. And again, what are you asking? I'm sorry, what are you asking?
Like the
So,
amount?
Yeah, for that.
The amount, yes.
Yeah. So for that specific event, it was 375. But we do have another event that Shelby will be talking about after.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine.
Let's roll on to that one too then.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Okay. So our second idea is, and you can hear me, right? I think, yeah. Okay. Our second idea is an open mic night. And so here are the logistics. We kind of want to have a cool like vibe of an event with lights and warm drinks, have it open for people to be able to sing, do spoken word, poetry, display art that they've made. So the idea is, we have two ideas we have to kind of figure out. Either one, rent out a room with sound equipment already there, or the other thing would be to do an outdoor space and rent sound equipment. So that would be kind of the difference with the price. We're not sure which one. So basically, as I said, we've had people sign up in advance to perform, maybe through a Google form or something along the lines of that, and open that up to people in the Georgia Tech community, other ACF chapters around, and then maybe even other like young people or even older people at the churches in the area. I know at Georgia Tech, one thing that we had just been talking about in our small group is that we want to increase creativity because we're a very technical school, but there are also a lot of creatives on our campus, but there are very few groups that house that. And so we'd love to be able to showcase like some of the really cool talent that people have. So we'd invite friends from GT and other ACF chapters and other people in Atlanta, provide warm drinks and food. We'd like to have this in spring of 2021, preferably early in the semester when it's still cool in Atlanta. And we expect that it'll be about $400 total. Obviously, that's an estimate. We think about $200 to either rent the room or the sound equipment, and then maybe about $200 for food, depending on the amount of people. And the intent here is pretty similar. So why a relaxed event to showcase talent and also to witness others? Because we would want the acts to have probably a theme, like a theme of Christianity. So, worship to God, other stuff like that. And we can accomplish along the same lines what we want. What we're really looking to do in this next year or so is to grow our chapter, to get our name out, to have people be able to recognize us on the campus. And so that was the intent of both of these events, to get our GT name further on campus and to connect with the other chapters in the area, and also to witness to others and realize that Christianity isn't just a set of rules, it's about connecting and relationship also. And then once again, how will it help our chapter? It will bring a greater presence to our campus. And so are there any questions about this one?
So is there
Questions and stuff?
anything, I'm sorry, is there anything different about these events that you do in your advertising than you do with your regular meetings for the general campus?
Definitely. So there are a few things that we can do on our campus. So there are a few lists. I don't know if y'all have on your campuses, but it's like lists that go out, it's emails that go out to everybody within this list. Like for example, I know the girl who does the BSO list. And so I can send this to her and she'll send it to everybody. It's hundreds of people on this list. And they also have lists like that through what we call Engage, which is our student organization portal.
Right.
So and get emails blasted out. And then also I'm friends with a few of the people who lead some of the spoken word groups on campus. And so we can definitely tell them and work with them and let them know that this is happening. Because I don't think they've been able to have many events this semester. So I'm sure they'd be excited to see this and join us. And then of course, as I said, to the other ACF chapters in the greater Atlanta areas, that would be a matter of sending it, like for example, in the group me, posting it on our Instagram, reaching out to the local churches, etc.
And do you have a campus newspaper, be it virtual or print, that you could use? Have you considered that?
Yeah, that's a good point. We can use that. We have a few different outlets. The newspaper isn't used very much, but we do have a few different like newsletters that go through email, and we'll see those a lot. So that would definitely be something that we can put it in. And
Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay. Any other questions from the judges? I do have a comment. Total was $750. You guys were asking $375 for the movie, open mic $400, which would put you at $775. So right away, I'm gonna peel that back to $750.
Yes, that was
right.
mentioned. We are also gracious. Pastor Don gives us $500 a semester, so we can definitely take some from that to supplement.
All right, so we're gonna put you at a total ask of $750.
Yes, that's
all right. If the judges, you got any more questions or thoughts, we'll ask you for your scores on this one.
I just want to know, do you have a student fees budget or something that comes from student activities?
Yeah, so we don't have a budget, but we can apply. We can apply for SGA funds. That's like our Student Government Association.
Okay.
Not a lot of rules though, so I used to go through it for another organization. I've done it a few times, but I have to go through the rules and make sure that we'd be able to get money, because like certain things give out prizes, sometimes you can't get it, like all kind of stuff. So
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the judges? If not, Ken, what do you want to do? How much you want to invest?
Start with somebody else this time.
Okay. Who's ready? Gary, you ready?
750.
Okay, Emily's 170. All right. Gary?
Sure. I like both ideas. I think it's going to be a little difficult to actually turn them into reality to accomplish what you're trying to do. So that means you've built a challenge for yourself, and I like that you've challenged yourself. So I'm going to go 800.
800. All right. Chester.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to start. I would like to see some strong follow-up plans for both of your events to be able to continue the relationship or answer questions that people have. But I think you've got to start somewhere, and I think it's a good start. And I'm going to go 900.
900. Okay. Ken?
7.
7. All right. Very good. That puts us into play. We'll have to figure that out. Let's move on to Georgia State. Thank you guys for your presentation. Who's got this for Georgia State?
I'll be presenting for Georgia State.
Who's that?
Janelle.
Okay.
Okay, Janelle. So do you have a on-screen thing? You can make her a co-host.
PowerPoint.
Got it. All right. Go ahead and share your screen.
Awesome.
All right. So hello, my name is Janelle Jean Francois, and I am the Communications and Social Media Director at Georgia State. Here is the blueprint. Can everybody see my screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. All right. With our limited interactions, we have noticed a change in our communication with our peers. Yes, we talk on Zoom or WebEx or Cisco, but nothing compares with an in-person conversation. We want to present to you today a social campaign at Georgia State University, and it's going to be titled Save Other Souls. So SOS. Here are our dates for our campaign. Our in-person campaign consists of e-board members setting up a table full of goodies or school supplies on campus. This is done to interact with our peers and to promote our organization. We determine what to give out during these campaigns by posting polls on GroupMe, Instagram, or by email. Here's a breakdown of our budget. In total, we are requesting $650 to fund our future campaign dates. We aim for consistency, so each item is priced in a way that will allow us to do these campaigns multiple times throughout the semester. So we have school supplies priced at 100, goodie bags priced at 200. These goodie bags can vary through like candies or school supplies, as mentioned before, and also like hand sanitizers, protective gear. Also, we have raffles that we like to do. That would be for $150, and of course, making our brochures and banners will cost about $150. And then our other fees, $50. Our main focus for this campaign is to help those that are spiritually hungry. At Georgia State University, our ACF chapter has witnessed a decrease in our social interactions. This decrease has had a major impact on most of our peers. We thrive on social interaction. Research shows that it lightens up your mood and makes you feel better. Here are some of our goals for our campaign. One is to expose ACF GSU to other Adventists on campus, Adventists or non-Adventists, and also to students who may be interested. And we also want to spread the love of God, allowing people to feel a sense of hope, especially in these rough times. And finally, understanding more of the students' needs so we can tailor the ACF experience according to their spiritual needs. Our ultimate goal is to be present on campus, to continue advocating hope, to effectively cater to the need of our current and future members. And finally, to create stronger roots so that the future generation of ACF at GSU to thrive. And that is it. Any questions?
Very good. Any judges, a question? I got you muted, so it's getting noisy.
I'm sorry. How would you, I understand that you're reaching out to your peers. Have you considered reaching out to faculty and staff who are probably suffering from the same symptoms?
Yes, that's a great observation. Since we are going to be located on campus, we're going to be aiming towards those who are like, just coming out of class. And yes, that does include instructors and TAs and students, and even passing by community. Like, we're aiming to expose our group and our fellowship to other people.
Thank you.
Hey, Janelle, thanks for your presentation. I'm wondering, has your club done any of these type of events or handouts or campaigns in the past?
Yes, during our when we have an organization fair, we usually do it with other organizations, but instead of doing it with organization fairs this time around, we're trying to do it solely so that we can stand out for a change instead of being bombarded with other organizations that people want to choose from.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ken, Gary, unmute yourself if you do.
Janelle, this is a nice idea to basically extend your tabling, and this is kind of what I see it doing is the regular tabling things that you do at the beginning of a semester, putting that over a number of different times to make your to make yourself better known. What I'm wondering is, because you're trying to reach the people who have been suffering through COVID, I wonder if your title itself might be putting those people off. Save other souls. Usually people who are suffering from depression or other things like this that you're kind of reaching out to don't want to, well, I won't say usually, but quite often they don't really want to get into spiritual issues, or they don't want to get into things with people that they don't know about spiritual issues intentionally, and I'm afraid that might put them off. I wonder if you could use some other acronym like PCM post-COVID moods, or PCI post-COVID improvement, or PCR post-COVID renewal, or just something else that would give the people a better idea of what you're trying to accomplish, so that they might be willing to approach you more easily. They won't have that ingrained resistance to spiritual emphasis. They're able to still do exactly the same thing that you're going to do, but change the title of it to be able to reach more people. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I appreciate that observation. I can see how it could have it could lead people to think otherwise, and I'm definitely open to changing that title to make people feel more comfortable and more at ease at coming to address us, and to like be more interested in what we have going on. Thank you.
All right.
What office do you hold, Janelle?
I'm the social media communications director.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Take a little bit of time. Judges? Everyone else, while they're deliberating, you can go to slido.com, put in code LRB5, and take our evaluation for this year's reboot. If you would do that while you're waiting, that'd be awesome. LRB5 is the code, following our very creative line of reasoning to LRB 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. You can take that code. All right, who wants to start? Which judge?
I'll start.
Okay.
Janelle, pending all the recommendations that have been made by the judge panel, I would be willing to offer you the $650 that you're asking for.
So how many credits? That'll be 1,000.
650.
Right, but you got 1,000 credits. So if
Oh, I see. I say 800.
okay,
800 credits.
yeah. If you want to get the full 650, then you go 1,000 credits.
Okay, 1,000 credits.
All right, very good.
I was like confused about the credits.
Hey, so I'll go next. I like your ideas. I think they're really important. And I think it's a move in the right direction. I'd sort of like to see all of our ACF chapters keeping that type of promotional materials and activities out there on a regular basis. And I think it might be something with that some of what Pastor Don gives each chapter, the $500, some of that may be well used to do this type of a thing for all of our chapters. So I think it's a good thing that you're doing. I'm going to say 800.
Okay. Ken? You're muted.
Janelle, I think that what you're doing by moving your tabling to 4 times during the semester is going to be a great experiment. And I'm hoping that as you do this, each time you keep some records of what the response to it is and how effective you decided it was, so that you can share that with all of the different groups around the conference this time next year, so that we can see how effective it is, whether it makes any difference. So if you'll agree to keep that, keep those records and make such an evaluation, then I'm going to recommend, I'm going to give you my 1,000 points.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Ken? Ken, are you there? You're muted.
Still muted.
There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Oh, yeah, come back to me.
Well, you're the last one.
I knew that. Uh, 6.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, GSU. We will be getting back with you. And let's move on now to UTC. And that's the one I have, right? All right, let me share my screen. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it?
So, yes, thank you. So, yeah, thank you, judges, for the opportunity, Mr. Don, Mr. Gary, Mr. Ken, Ms. Emily, and Mr. Clark. So we are the UTC, or University of Chattanooga, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga chapter. So we can go to the next slide if you don't mind. Okay, so there's 2 ways that our group will like to see us grow, which is socially and on campus. There's thousands of students at UTC, and our chapter is a little bit small, and it's mostly Adventist, which is okay. We would like to invite all the Adventists that we can to the group, but it is mostly Adventist. So we would like to put more emphasis on campus and on campus outreach and invite more students that way. So, and we would like to do that through a social avenue. So if you don't mind turning to the next slide. So through games night, so there's a little expert in the bottom, and I'll just read it. It's playing games together, joint teams competing against each other creates this bond that's deeper and different than the normal dinner or coffee, or having this coffee. Food, we are able to share our culture and heritage through food and give each other nourishment. Sharing a meal is the most communal and binding thing in most every place in the world. So people can relate to that cultural interaction everywhere. Adventures, because in the end, you won't remember the time you spend working or in the office or mowing outside, but it's the adventures that's shared together and the memories made together. And then posters and flyers. It'd be nice to see Adventists present a little bit louder, a little bit bigger, and a little bit greater at UTC. It's not very well known, so we would like advertisement material, make ourselves more well known to students. There's thousands and thousands of students on campus, and I'm sure we can reach at least a handful. Spirituality, have resources handy for whatever situations the students might be going through. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual thing. It can be if they're lonely, if they're stressed with school, if there's family problems, whatever it is, that we have resources handy that we can reach them. And if you don't mind sending to another slide. Okay, and this is where we would like your help. It's through money. Things do cost and have expense. The resources. So why not ask a little bit outside of the box if you have resources that you can help us with, and through training. It would be nice to see, some baptisms, some growth in our group, some, we're going to graduate, we're going to leave our campus ministries, and it would be nice to see others take on the flag, take on the banner, and run with it. So yes, that's the end of my presentation.
All right. Questions?
Hey, Jordan, good to see you.
Yes, hello.
I'm wondering did you have a dollar amount that you're thinking this initiative would cost for, or that you're asking for this?
Well, the dollar amount I was thinking of is as much as you can give us. So I didn't really have a dollar amount. So the board games would be nice. Just have resources. Our group is fairly small, and I would like to see it grow. And it'd be nice to leave the resources behind for the other groups to continue to use those resources to grow the group, to reach out to people, to be less insular but more out.
So Jordan, can you share with us, give us some idea of what your expenses would entail? What would you need the money to pay for?
I guess for resources for our campus ministries to be more known, Adventist flyers.
Okay.
Also maybe games, food,
Okay.
adventures, putting things together. Honestly, I didn't have a set, like, this is how much it's going to cost per head, per event. So, but resources that will last to the next generation and to the next generation.
Okay.
For a continual thing. And if my team wants
you had asked for spiritual resources to hand to people for any situation. Were you thinking of like literature there?
Yeah, whether it's literature or spirituality can come in different forms. It can be also therapeutic. Um, yeah, I'm not too sure right off the top of my head. But if there's situations that come up where people have a need, whether maybe hard time or something, through food, there's witnessing through food, but spirituality and to slip a little, hey, we're from the Adventist campus group. Just there's little ways we can get our names known out there. Our group is very small, and with thousands of students on campus, surely we can tell people about our group and make it more spread.
Other questions?
Have you thought of fundraisers to sponsor those Help Me funds? Because you may not be able to use school funds or even conference funds to just give somebody a gift. So have you all thought of any creative ways to do a fundraiser event? And maybe have your funds matched?
No, not honestly. No.
Okay. Well, and one other budget question: does UTC offer you any funds as an organization, a student organization?
I think there is a monthly fund. I just found out today from the conference, and I think there is a small amount from UTC, which I honestly, I am the treasurer. I don't know what guidelines that consist of, but I feel like if the conference gave us a donation, it will free us more to give us different opportunities to use that funds without limitations or boundaries.
And lastly, have you thought about asking for sponsorship in the community? Sometimes organizations and retailers will, to get students' attention, they will support you. They might donate some of the things you could raffle off or sell or give away even. So consider that.
Okay.
Another consideration is you're real close to Chat State there. Have you guys thought of reaching out and kind of including them as part of your chapter?
Reaching out to who?
Chattanooga State.
Oh, it'd be the concept of church plant. You know how a main church plants another church. Yeah, we can use the same concept at Chat State. I'm not too sure if Chat State even has a Adventist Fellowship campus ministry chapter.
They don't have a one, but there's a lot of Adventist students there, and that's why I was thinking if maybe you guys could actually reach out and kind of spread out a little bit and pull them into your fellowship. You could be Chat State and UTC together. It'd still be under the UTC banner.
Yeah, I definitely want to really focus on outreach and growing. And if we start a project maybe through Chat State, helping them launch their Adventist campus ministry, I think that's all
just an idea. Just an idea. You might want to start by including them in your stuff and inviting them to your stuff, and then see how that grows. And if it gets big enough, you guys could maybe split. But until then, you could be. It gives you more people to choose from, to pull from. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just a thought. Any other comments from the judges? We need to move on. All right, let's look for scores here. So, Emily, what are you saying?
I'm thinking, I'm thinking 500 pending some type of collaboration and outreach to campus, to area retailers and churches for support as well.
All right. Gary, not that you're biased or anything.
Thank you, Jordan, for your presentation. I appreciate what you've done to get that ready. I know you didn't have much time to do that. and thanks for your work as treasurer of the club, of the chapter. I would really like to see UTC encouraged to grow, and I know that they've had a number of setbacks that have kept that from happening. And the idea of reaching out to Chat State and having a joint chapter is a great idea. And if they would agree to reach out to Chat State and try to bring that together, I've seen that done before. I've worked with chapters that have done that before with other campuses, and actually had one chapter kind of take it as their responsibility to build up the chapter on another campus. If they would take that as a part of their responsibilities, then I would be happy to give them 750 points.
All right. Ken?
550.
All right. Chester?
Yeah, Jordan, thanks for your presentation. I'm really glad that you're there and you're using your talents to help build up that group there. I guess the one thing that I wish I knew a little more details about, how much expenses or what expenses you're looking at. And I realized you didn't have an opportunity to do that. I will say this before I give my score or my points. I don't live too far away, and I'd be happy to come up there if you have an event sometime you like me to speak for, training. If you have questions about resources, I'd be happy to be a resource for you if you're interested. I think I will put 700.
All right, 700. Thank you, UTC. Appreciate your presentation. We'll be getting back with you once we figure all this out. All right, we're going to our last one of the day. University of Tennessee, Knoxville, UTK. Who's presenting? Paul? Okay, so let me give Paul a co-host.
That'll be me and April. Did you give co-host to my account or Paul but on desktop?
Paul but on desktop is co-host now, it says.
Okay.
While we're waiting, if you want to go back to Slido, LRB 5 is now working. You can rate the event. Go for it, Paul.
April's presenting the
Yeah,
first half.
yeah. So we had an idea that on UT, well, right, like, sorry, bleh, talking is hard. We were kind of thinking of ways to help both expand our community and help people feel more connected right now, because it's sort of hard, like we feel a little bit distant from everyone when we're meeting online. And we want people to be able to show that they care about each other. So we had this idea of having something sort of like a chain letter. Can you move the slide, Paul? So we thought we could make a care package that has different items in it to help people feel a little more at ease, and also that someone thought of them. So basically, it's a care package that you can sorry, I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to explain it better to where it makes sense. Just 1 second. I'm so sorry.
So they can sign other people up to receive this package?
Yeah. I didn't know if I should read directly from the slide. We only came up with this.
Sure, go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah. So they can sign a friend up and they can receive a care package from Advent House, and it'll say in the package who sent the gift. And in the package, it'll have Advent House contact information and stuff. So if this person who gets a gift wants to send a gift as well to pay it forward, they can get in contact with us and do that. Next slide, please. So we thought things we could put in it is a magnet calendar, and on that would be things like, first of all, the Advent House contact information, but also like events we're planning and weekly events so people don't forget about stuff. And then we thought maybe some writing supplies would be nice for school. We didn't want to get like anything chintzy. We want things that people could really appreciate and use in their studies. So we thought some ACF pens, and some stationery and notebooks and stuff to help them with school, and like a healthy snack. And we thought about getting some stickers made. I'm an artist, so I can help with designing some stuff. And they were thinking we could like print it off somewhere. I'm not sure about the logistics side on that. That's more, I think Chris and Paul know a little bit more about the stickers than I do. But our total cost would come out to $70. And if we decide we need to spend more than that, we'll use our own Advent House funds to make it happen. Next slide, please. Paul, is this the fourth or the fifth slide?
This is your last slide.
Oh, okay. So it'll start at the beginning of the spring semester and continue until summer or the end of supplies.
Okay, so why was this important to us? On the UTK campus, buildings. So this has led to many people being stressed because they can't meet up with friends on campus and they're just kind of stuck in their houses doing online classes, and they'd be lonely and isolated. We had a bunch of stats about how the quarantine has affected people, where it's like increased anxiety and stress, and in like some people it's increased the likelihood of substance abuse and suicide risk. So we figured the care package would be a mental boost to them, and it's good to receive unexpected gifts in the mail. For our goals, this would be providing for individuals who are not currently being ministered to. So within the care package would be like the snacks, which would give them food, but it would also contain the ACF contact info and stuff about our meetings. So they'd be able to like come to social events and meet up with people online. And we want to strengthen the friendships of members and non-members, so our members can sign up their friends or people that haven't been to ACF or Advent House to receive these packages. And it's the friends will be giving each other gifts and stuff. It connects more people through this sign up thing. And it's acknowledging the concerns of people in the local community and letting them know we care, because like we know they're lonely and they're isolated, and we're holding these events that they may not know about and might want to come to. Specifically, how this helps ACF, it impacts the local community, so more people that wouldn't have heard about us this semester or next semester would be hearing about our name. It advertises Advent House in a COVID-safe way because we can't be on campus to actually speak to people. It keeps us connected with the members of Advent House because it gives them a reason to talk to us, and they like have a reason to come to meetings and stuff if they wanted to give feedback on it. And it connects to non-attending students, aka the members' friends that would be receiving the packages that they would be signed up for afterwards. And that's the end.
All right. Judges, your thoughts?
Right out the bat, I was curious about whether or not you all have. Does your club currently meet either virtually or face to face at all? Do your club members, your current club members?
Yeah, we have one meeting a week. We do Bible studies mostly.
And so Bible studies is it.
Currently, we hosted a
Game nights.
game night also in the beginning of the semester. So
What were you saying, April?
I was kind of saying the same thing. We occasionally do game nights, and we're planning to have one pretty soon.
Okay. So are you inviting other students who may not necessarily be a part of your ACF group to these weekly meetings?
Yeah, so we still invite former members. I'm not so sure about, I'm personally not on UT campus. I go to Pellissippi, so I'm not sure what's going on that side of things so much, but
Okay.
I'll invite like my own friends and former members. As to whether they actually come, usually not.
Okay. Well, my point is, I'm wondering how you're reaching out and growing your organization, or at least advertising or making it known to others so that they can be a part of it, whether they're Adventist or not. I was curious about that. And you may have said, but how much are you asking for?
$750.
yeah,
$750. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thoughts?
Yes, April and Paul, I appreciate your presentations, and the idea of a care package to students is a great idea. I think you'll find that you'll run through 100 packages really quick, and you probably will need to look at doing more than 100 boxes. So in order to do that, I'm wondering if you have thought about contacting any of the local businesses in Knoxville, in that area. Let them know what you're doing and get support from them to include items that might be a particular benefit to students who might be depressed, or who might just need something to cheer them up, or other things that might be able to support, maybe even monetary support, so that you could expand your plan to 500 boxes instead of 100.
That could be an option. We only recently came up with the idea, so we'd have to figure out which local groups and we could contact and what they would possibly want to be able to provide for us.
I mean, probably like someplace that would sell school supplies might be interested. I didn't even really think it was an option, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, it seems to me that you could go to almost any storefront in Knoxville that has a sign for the university in their front window, and tell them what you're doing to be able to help students who are been affected by COVID, and ask them if they have anything that they could offer, like a particular, maybe a small gift, or maybe a major discount coupon for them that's not available to other people, or just something that that when they get this box, they're going to see that, wow, this isn't just some little trinkets, but it's really got some real helpful things in it. And one other thing, it would be good to have have you thought about putting literature on two things in particular? One is depression, and the other is happiness, so that they're not just getting literature on depression because that might be depressing, but also on happiness so that they can look at the other side. Of course, the depression literature is going to give them some of the other side, but the literature on happiness could really expand on that. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
So yeah, I'm with Gary on that. I think that if you can include something that tells in your care package that tells about your chapter and what you do and what you can offer, as well as literature that might be some reading material. You know, one thing that's easy to do is just print up a list of websites, links that they might be interested in. Include that because, you know, you never know when someone may be looking for something on depression or on finding peace or on whatever it is, forgiveness, that we might be able to point them to websites on different subjects. I think it's a great idea. I think it's meeting a felt need. I think people will appreciate it. I think you want to I think you want to keep your costs low and your impact high. So whatever you put in there needs to be something that's going to be relatively inexpensive, but that will be found useful and appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we ready to vote?
I have one more bit of input.
Okay.
Ken, did you have something?
Did she say how much they were asking for?
$750.
$750. Sorry.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention also, you might want to consider if UTC Knoxville has a counseling services that's non-academic related, if you could collaborate with them on some of these projects, because depression and loneliness are critical areas, and you just need some professional support with that, even if they just agreed to be part sponsor with you by providing resources or making their information available with what you distribute.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
All right. We got scores here, judges. Who wants to give me the first one?
I say 800.
All right. Chester?
I think it's a good idea, and I think if they will agree to expand what they're doing and use other resources from the community, and maybe even number that they're looking at, I'd like to see 800 also.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in favor. I like the idea. A little more collaboration, I think, within some of that as they develop it. It sounds like it's a pretty new approach that they want to take. I'll go 750.
750. Chester?
I'll go 850 to even you out.
Okay. All right, now guys, here's the way it's going to work. And Paul, you can stop sharing your screen whenever. We're going to go into the judges for about 3 minutes. You're going to go into another room to deliberate. We'll come back with your awards. If you have not yet taken the survey, go to Slido while we're gone, LRB 5, and take that survey. It's active now. We'll be right back to award what we got. So Betsa, if you'll put me and the judges in another room, leave everybody else here. You should see it. All right, guys. Well, the moment of truth. The judges have conferred. We've totaled the scores. And here's the deal. I wish I could give you all $750, but there's only one $750 prize. There's two $500 prizes, and there's two $400 prizes. So everybody's going to leave here with something. That's a cool thing about it. All right. So as we total it up, we felt that the top prize would go to Emory, $750. Their presentation was excellent. So good job, Emory. If you're any of you guys still, Danielle's still on. Yes. And Margot's still on. Good. So you guys, you knocked it out of the park today. Very good job. Appreciate that. Awesome. Second two for 500 each was Georgia State University and UTK. So you guys get $500 for yours. Thank you very much for those presentations. And then Georgia Tech and UTC, $400 a piece. You should be able to at least get started with that. So good job. Thank you guys for being part of this. And how'd you feel about the Shark Tank? Was that good? Did you get any ideas for your own group?
Yes. I want to steal Emory's idea. I really like that. I was like, dang it, how'd we come up with that? That's really good.
You can't steal it.
Yeah, it's such a great idea. I like the open mic night. That was cool too.
So I was saying to my chapter, maybe we all can do something like our ideas, and then at the end you can have like a joint or huge worship night together. I don't know, the spring. I don't know.
Or celebration. It's okay to celebrate.
Yep, I think that's good.
Yeah, and you can share ideas and what went well and what didn't go well. Or, yeah.
I want to say I appreciate each of the campuses for getting involved with this and putting something together. And I know some put a lot of effort into it. Some of them didn't get started until a little bit later, but it's a great thing just to be doing this and thinking ahead to what can be done. Thanks to all of the campuses who got involved.
And thanks to our Ken, go ahead. You're muted.
Well, not real important, but I think you ought to do this for the Atlanta sports teams. The Falcons and the Braves could use some creative ideas to win a ball game.
Yeah, the Braves almost made it to the World Series. I mean, they were close.
Yeah, but we could have them pay us.
There you go. Somebody help me.
All right. I want to thank all of our judges today, Chester, Ken, Emily, and Gary. I appreciate you guys hanging here with me.
I love you guys.
And guys, we're going to start this once a year. So at Leadership ReBoot every year, bring your ideas, bring your presentations. We'll go for it. And we're excited about that. For those of you who are going to be part of the game night tonight, we're going to start at 7, same exact link. UTK and Chris May are going to be helping us with all the games. He's got some other people helping him. And so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have had a good time. Let me just speak for myself. Last night, today, been good. I hope it's been helpful for you. I hope you've gone and done the evaluation. Looks like about 13 or 14 people have already. So that's awesome. If you haven't, LRB 5 on Slido. I'll leave that open for a while. And then we'll be closing it probably sometime after tonight's meeting. So yes, Gary.
And thanks to Betsy.
I was about to say that. Be good to Betsy.
Yes, ma'am. Always.
I know.
She's just working in the background and keeps doing things and helping us all function well. So that's been good.
Yeah.
Ken, would you be willing to have a prayer for us as we close today?
Thanks, Father, for your love and your goodness to us, blessings of life. Thanks for these dedicated students and their sponsors who take seriously the gospel of Jesus Christ to be good neighbors and representatives on their respective campuses. Thank you for their creativity. I pray that you'll bless them abundantly beyond measure, keep them COVID-free and healthy, and we look forward to the day when Jesus will come again, take us home. In his name we pray. Amen.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you're doing game night, we're open at 7 o'clock. We'll open at 6:45 actually to get set up, and you're welcome to join us at that point. We will see you tonight. If you don't come, blessings to you. Have a safe drive home. Ha, ha, ha. That was what I usually say at the end of Leadership Reboot. Have a safe drive home.
Thank
But
you.
Is it the same link?
same link.
Okay.
Game night, same link as we've been using all day. So
Okay. Thank you.
thanks a lot.
You
See
guys
guys.
be safe. Good to see you.
Adidas Amoeba.
All right. I will see you tonight. Or are you going to be on tonight? I'll host tonight. Got it.
Is that
All
okay?
right. Yeah, that's fine.
I know
That's fine.
I should have asked before, but I guess you usually do the game night since Chris helps you with that part. But I should have asked. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. We'll do it. We'll do it. All right. Just click to leave the meeting, and that will shut off the recording, and we'll be ready to go.
All righty.
See you later. Thanks so much.